Hello, everybody. Um, this is a hard video to make, but I felt a inner something that compels me to make it, so I'm doing that. Um, I've made a lot of changes in my life recently for the better, but that comes with some challenges. It's been 2 weeks since I've smoked pot, um, and I was in an intensive outpatient program that I was going to before that. And basically, I'd go there and I got a lot out of it, but I'd come home, play video games, um, not really do much for myself. Um, and I found myself relapsing. And really, what I've done recently is become more engaged in 12-step programs. For me, it's been helpful. I know a lot of people have opinions about them. That's fine. Um, but I just got a sponsor in Alcoholics Anonymous. Um, it's not my primary drug of choice, but it's really pot for me. But it's the same kind of. It's more available. There's more meetings that I can go to. I actually just hit up a Marijuana Anonymous meeting on Zoom, which was helpful. I find that to be helpful. But going in person, I've part of like a committee for to kind of help for young people in Alcoholics Anonymous. So I'm like being of service, which is part of the program. I found that to be helpful. We're putting on like a talent show, in nearby in a couple weeks, um, and I'm just going to go and help set up, and then afterwards I'll put things away and just enjoy the show. I've gotten to know people. I actually ran into a friend from a while back in my program back when I was in sober housing, and he's doing pretty well, having his own issues, but we met up, hit up a meeting. I got to meet his girlfriend. He's got a job, got a truck, but he's struggling. And it was just nice to catch up and talk about what we're going through and support each other and come to the meeting and find some more support. And it was good. With that said, all these great things, I'm going to be working through the steps. I just started with the big book with my sponsor, just the forward and just the beginning. Really start from the beginning, and it's really great. And I'm calling my sponsor every day. It's this really pure support. This guy's gone through a lot of similar things I've gone through. He found a way of changing his thinking, behavior, um, and with help. And I need help, and that's what I'm getting. I have my therapist who's in recovery himself for 20 years or so. And I talk with him every Saturday on Zoom, um, and that's really helpful. So I'm doing these proactive things. I'm not just wallowing in, avoidance, but I'm noticing, I've been running on adrenaline for about 2 weeks, and part of my wellness in my recovery is like meditation and and I journal, write things down is really helpful at the suggestion of my sponsor and other people in my life on my support team. And I'm journaling every day. I'm walking, I'm finding that helpful. I was walking way too much. I found that, that what something people do is they overexercise to kind of cope with what they're going through. But I got myself some hiking shoes. I got a couple parks around here. I walk around, and that's really nice. Just trying to pace myself, trying to find healthier coping skills to deal with a lot of the issues I've been dealing with. Because ultimately, the drugs, the alcohol, it's just covering up deeper issues, trauma, which I've mentioned on this channel, family issues, things like that. And that's really the hard thing. Now I'm kind of slowing down. I was running on adrenaline. I'm really glad I was doing those things, getting shit done, not sitting around, getting out of the house. I went to a sober rave, which was really crazy. I never thought I would do that. We went to this, like in the woods, and basically listened to like electronic, like we had a DJ there. We drank a bunch of tea and like energy drinks, got hopped up on that. and dancing around. I'm not really a dancer, but I started to dance. Hey, I started to loosen up. Move my muscles a little bit, and very tense, and started to move my body in an expressive way that was interesting and cathartic. Um, being around people, it's uncomfortable. I'm really used to isolating. I'm really afraid, and this is something that is coming up, is the fear of being in relationships with others. Um, I've had to take some distance from my family. Some of them are still in active addiction, and that's contributed to triggering me. And I visited my dad recently, and he's into pot now. He would ask me, his primary thing is alcohol, and he was like, "Oh, my back hurts. I wish I could get some pot." And I, I was like I don't know. It's just a bad dynamic there, and I just have to work on myself. And it's really tough. I love my family, but it's really a sick system in a lot of ways. And I have to take some distance. And for right now, I called my mom today. It was a little much. I just had to go and just not talk with her. She's very controlling, and that's something I was reading about, like fear of intimacy. I have this fear of engulfment. It's called, because I had this really controlling mother, and just controlling family members in general. But primarily, I was in relation with my mother a lot. I grew up with her. My dad really was not in my life a lot, and she was very controlling, and she still is. And to protect myself, I've distanced myself from people, become emotionally unavailable, and in similar ways to like my father, you know. And it's tough. It's really tough to not be overwhelmed by shame. It's going to come up. It came up today. It's coming up, and I look at my own behavior. Have I replicated certain behaviors, and that's part of the nice thing is I don't have to do this alone. Part of the program is like looking at your behaviors. There's also like 12-step programs for like codependency, or dealing with family members who have addictions, which I would like to get more into, um, because that's a big part of my recovery, is really looking at those relationships. And yeah, I found myself in my personal life. Well, I guess I'm talking about my personal life. Getting involved with women in unhealthy ways, acting out in certain ways, and getting affected by, it takes two to tango, and I also kind of experienced some really unhealthy behaviors from women, and yeah, so it's really easy to get into everybody else has a problem, or I'm the only person I'm terrible, everybody else is great, and I'm the only person who has a problem. And it's part of the process of like recognizing, like, what can I take responsibility for. They say, cleaning up your side of the street, not taking over responsibility for other people's emotions and lives, and taking responsibility for my behavior, and my what I can do for myself. Because if I don't work on myself, I can't really, have healthy relationships, with just in general, friendships, family relationships. I have some family members who are healthier than others. My little sister or my aunt, they're kind of more emotionally available, mature, whatever. Uh, so it's tough. Um, but I know that I'm taking it a day at a time. I'm doing the steps. Not I didn't mean it like that, but I'm also trying to do that. But I'm taking the steps to get better, and that's something I try to recognize. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from other people who are on the same path, or um, who are on a healing kind of journey, um, and it means a lot, because I can get into my own. I can be really hard on myself, and sometimes it's good to challenge myself, and to recognize, um, some things I did wrong or ways I can better operate in the world. But taking time to kind of recognize that I'm a human being, like even people who don't have these specific issues, like they deal with a lot of similar things. It's inevitable. Part of being a human is, um, you know, dealing with pain and dealing with your own imperfections, your own flaws. But luckily, I found that if I have healthy relationships with others, I can grow, but I can't do it alone. As much as I really want to, uh, I'd love to just be able to, read a bunch of articles in a day or do some intellectual whatever and fix all my problems. But that's not how human beings work. Um, so with that said, um, this is kind of where I'm at right now, and it's fucking rough at at some points. But I'm really glad that I didn't have to, smoke today. I didn't have to drink today. I'm still trying to give up the cigarettes. That's really tough. Um, but you know, I'm taking it day at a time. I'm doing the work. Um, I'm fucking terrified at times. I don't want to hurt other people. I don't want to get hurt myself. Um, but that's like the human experience. It just happens, and uh, the only thing I can do is try to limit the harm I do to myself or others by being honest, being open-minded, being willing to make changes, and I'm opening up myself up to others as much as that's really difficult for me to do. But yeah, thank you for listening, and I hope maybe somebody got something out of it, or I don't know. I needed to get something. I need to get this out, but thank you.